Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing Drawback Chess, where each player gets a random drawback, like Lame Duck, where you can't move your king, or True Gentleman, where you can never capture a queen. My goal is to win 5 games. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, we get the white pieces, and f6 is highlighted. Surely has to do with our drawback. For 4 consecutive moves, starting on move 13, you must end your turn occupying f6. This is gonna be impossible. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna play knight to f3. And the game plan here is we get like knight to f6 somehow, and then we just stack a whole bunch of attackers on this knight. I mean, that's the only way that I see this even being like remotely feasible. Let's play bishop to g5. Please play knight to f6. Oh, pawn to f6 isn't terrible. We'll move the bishop back, still keep eyes on that f6 pawn, and g5. You know, my other option here is to play for mate, which is almost kind of feasible. Let's try this. Surely opponent will take back, and then we're going to play e3, and then queen to h5, and see if we can't get the king before our 7 turns are up. Because that's impossible. I mean, even a remotely sentient player will stop me just for positional reasons from stacking up too much on f6 without even knowing my drawback. Okay, bishop takes. Let's play check. King comes forward. We have 4 turns left, which isn't great. Let's play check again. Check again, please. I only have 3 turns left. Queen to e7. Yep, we're gonna YOLO it, and if we don't get this, then it's pretty much over for us. Take on e7, and if we don't get this, instant loss of the game. Your opponent revealed their drawback, oddball. You can only capture on odd-numbered moves. So, oh wait, crusade? Okay, so I have to move to f6, but what happens if I just take the king right now? I can't take the king? No! Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna reveal my drawback to my opponent. Oh my goodness, that's so insane. We were 1 move away. Queen to f6, and surely we lose this first game. Yep, and we lost game number 1, but I'm gonna leave it in because that was an extremely good game. All right, let's go to move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, we get the black pieces, and our drawback is crossing the Rubicon. Once one of your pieces crosses onto your opponent's side of the board, it can't return back to yours. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It probably means we'll have to play a little bit passively until we're like 100% sure that we want to commit to an attack and actually cross to that side of the board. But beyond that, it should be all relatively normal. Play knight to f6 would be funny if we got an alien gambit here. But we get queen to e2 instead, so threatening to take, and then we can't take back here because it's pinned. I'm gonna play e6. I mean, I have to play passively anyways. Normally this would be a concern because it locks the bishop in, but since I have to basically play on my side of the board anyways, it doesn't really matter. Okay, d4, let's just keep developing. Probably like bishop e7, castles, and we'll probably be fine. Nice, castles. My opponent's playing relatively normal too, so either they have, because I'm gonna guess this is a relatively easy drawback, which makes me think my opponent probably also has a relatively easy drawback. Or at least if they don't, they're doing a really good job of concealing it. This looks like a totally normal opening. Okay, we get castles by our opponent. Let's go ahead and fianchetto our bishop. Great way to keep our pieces on our side of the board, but actually control a little bit into our opponent's position. Queen back to e2. Let's push c5, see if we can open up the center. Still playing on my side of the board. Nobody's committed yet. Bishop to g5. I'm going to go ahead and boot the bishop right away. I really have no interest in keeping a annoying pin hanging around the board, so let's go ahead and take back. Rook to d1 lines it up with the queen. Let's go ahead and get her out of the way right away. Probably rook to d8, fight for the open file. Bishop back, I mean, sure. This is normal chess. Obviously, I can't really commit to any attack on my opponent's side of the board, and I don't know what my opponent's drawback is, but besides that, this is pretty standard stuff. Okay, rook d2, getting ready to double the rooks. Honestly, I'll just follow suit. I have no issue with doing the exact same. Sure, we're now both doubled up on the d file. Knight to h4 is really weird because you'd think there's nowhere for this knight to go anyways. Let's go ahead and take on d4. I'm fine with trading everything off and leaving my opponent with a isolated pawn on d4, meaning there's no other pawns that can come and defend it. Ooh, d4. Okay, I was expecting the rook to take. But my opponent takes right away with the pawn, which should just be a weakness now. Let's play bishop to e7. And maybe follow that up with like knight d5, maybe looking for knight to f4. Reason being, since this is a weakness now, I think it makes a lot of sense to play bishop to f6 and put some pressure on it along with the rook. Rook to c1, I mean, that's hanging anyways, even if the bishop moves. Oh, bishop check, looking to pick up the queen. Okay, that's pretty spicy. Let's go to move the queen out of the way. Queen to e4 threatens to come in with the queen. Okay, fine. I have to drop my knight back to defend that, hit the queen. And queen back to e3. I'm genuinely so curious to know what my opponent's drawback is because they're doing a great job of not making it obvious. I'm still going to take this knight so we can grab this free pawn on d4, but problem is that my rook is going to have to stay on that side of the board. Oh, or my queen. Takes. Should be totally fine. I mean, it's not great that my queen can never return to my side of the board, but I think we're close enough to a end game that it should be fine. My queen should be okay with just hanging out on that side of the board now. Not a lot of pieces left. Okay, queen comes over and defends the rook. I'll just keep taking pawns. I mean, while I'm here anyways, I might as well. Bishop to d3. Honestly, looks like it's baiting like queen here and then check to pick up the queen. But I'm going to play queen to a3, which is defended by the bishop. Knight to e4. Sure, let's trade everything off. I mean, I'm good to trade everything off if I have 3 extra pawns in an endgame. Bishop has to take, sure. We can now trade off the queen, so we don't have to worry about keeping her on that side of the board anymore. And I guess let's just push some pawns. Maybe bishop c5, hits e3, anchors b6. Sure, this looks fine. Rook to b7. If I take this, my bishop has to stay on that side of the board. Okay, I think rook to d2 makes more sense, because my rook can stay over there just fine. Oh, man, I didn't notice this, but luckily I have bishop to f8. Holy smokes. A little bit close for comfort there. Okay, we're going to play g6 and get that off our back right away. Bishop goes back. Sure, let's just start pushing. Rook comes over. We push again. It's defended by the bishop. Rook has the next squared covered. And honestly, at that point, I can play like this or something and just protect a1. So we have this with check. Bishop moves to e5. Oh, okay. e5 right away. Sure. And if I play bishop to e4, I can't return to my side of the board. I'm going to make a waiting move while I think this through. Maybe we just push the other pawn. b5, hit the rook. And 2 pawns definitely can promote. Okay, bishop to c6. My opponent, it feels like my opponent's reading my mind. It's incredible. Let's play. Actually, I can still play b5 because we have that discovered attack on the rook. Bishop to e8. If I play here, the rook takes, I just pick up a bishop. If the bishop takes, then I just pick up a rook. So rook to a8 is the only move. Okay, thank you. I now promote, and there's no way the king crosses over to my side because we have a wall of pawns, so this should be totally winning. Nice, with that, we win game number 2, which is our first victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, you won. Your opponent's drawback was, not even going to try that word. Well, maybe I will. Isotrophia? Your pieces can't take pieces of the same type. For example, your knights can't take other knights. Okay, yeah, our drawback was significantly easier than our opponent's drawback because that knocks out any fair trades that are piece to piece. But let's go to move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3, we get the white pieces, and our drawback is Shapeshifter. Your queen starts out as a bishop. Whenever you capture a non-pawn piece, your queen becomes a copy of it. If you capture a knight, your queen becomes confused and doesn't know what to do, so can't... Why is this... This is so elaborate. Holy smokes. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter for the opening. And I play a pretty non-confrontational opening as it is, so I'll have options on the table for later. But my queen... Okay, right now my queen can only move as a bishop. Whenever I capture a non-pawn piece, so any one of these pieces, your queen becomes a copy of it. Okay. Which is actually confusing for my opponent. Because, oh wait, never mind. I was going to say because if I take a knight, then my queen can move like a knight, but I guess that's what this addendum is for. If you capture a knight, your queen becomes confused and doesn't know what to do, so she can't move. Okay, fine. Let's play e3. I guess she's fine as a bishop for now. We'll have to see kind of where this goes. Or even better, what I need is to just trade off the queens as soon as possible. So let's play bishop d3. Knight d2, sure. Okay, we will, we'll drop the bishop back here. Preferably we get this in. But we get knight to c6. Queen to e2 is possible because she moves like a bishop. And maybe we even just like launch a kingside attack. Okay, king to h8. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. I mean, at this point, it would be in my opponent's favor since they don't know that my queen can only move like a bishop. And assuming this is a normal kingside attack, it would be in my opponent's favor to get as many trades on the board as possible, especially including the queen. Okay, bishop takes. Let's take back with the queen, hitting the knight. g6 seems to sack this. I can just take that. If my opponent takes, I take the knight on h5. Can't recapture because the pawn is pinned. And that works out perfectly because my queen can only move like a bishop anyways. Which is interesting because my opponent gets like the little red spot that they're in check, even though I couldn't capture the king even if I wanted to. Wait, what just happened? My queen is confused. Oh no, I forgot about the queen getting confused. Oh man. That is gonna be hard to come back from, but we'll try. Let's do g4. Why not? Opponent is thinking a lot here, which makes me think they are not excited about taking my queen for some reason. Or incapable somehow. Rook to h8. Let's go ahead and castle long and see if we can bring enough pieces into the attack to actually justify losing the queen. Okay, we get the queen for a rook, which considering that our queen could only move like a bishop earlier, honestly, I think that's good. Let's play check. And now I don't have to worry about her anymore. Now I can just play normal chess. Ooh, king comes forward. Let's play here, defend the pawn. And now I just need to bring all of my pieces into this attack. Queen to f6. Let's try this. Queen takes, rook to f1, check, king moves over. f7 is looking pretty sketchy. Nice, I shuffle out of the way, and now my opponent's kind of opened up their king side. I guess f5 shuts down a lot of it, but... Ooh, we get e5 instead. Ooh, wait a minute. Check, king here, check. That looks really promising, let's play that. Nice, check again. Oh, and this is forced mate, yeah. Check with the bishop, king moves... Oh, wait, no, it's not forced mate. We have this, king g7. Check, king here, check. King runs. Interesting. Let's try it anyways. Check. Check again. King can't move here because rook g6. Check again. King to e7 basically forced. Right, we get king to e7. I really don't want my opponent to escape, but it's going to be kind of difficult to keep them trapped. In fact, I'm not even sure how I'd go about it at all. Okay, let's do this. Check, and then check with the rook, and then take on e6. Because king here, and then bishop here. Oh, I also like that it says your queen is a spooky ghost. Okay, we take, and there shouldn't be a way for our opponent to get out of this. Yeah, nice. With that, we win game number 3, which is our second victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, your opponent's drawback was stir crazy. If you haven't moved your king 4 turns in a row, you must move it on the 5th. Interesting, which actually leans right into our attack, so that worked out pretty neatly. Let's go ahead and move on to game number 4. All right, game number 4, we get the white pieces. Our drawback is sibling rivalry. You cannot move a piece to a square adjacent to an opponent piece of the same type. Okay, a little bit technical, and I don't think it should actually be an issue, because like knights next to knights, pretty rare. Bishops next to bishops, pretty rare. Rooks next to rooks, rare unless you're in an endgame. And then queens usually see each other from afar anyways. Not to mention we have 1 minute on the clock, which is pretty interesting. I played bishop g5 thinking that opposite piece trades favor me. And I think they do. Like if I end up with 2 knights and my opponent ends up with 2 bishops, that's already perfect. Okay, we get knight to d7. There's nothing in the rules about my opponent moving a same piece type next to mine. So I think that should be fine. I just can't actively move into it myself. So I guess pawns versus pawns is going to be the biggest issue. Let's go ahead and castle out of the way. e5. Why can't I take? Oh, because it would move next to a pawn. Okay. Interesting. Let's play knight to e4. Let's play with this pin a little bit and see if we can get some trades on the board. I have less time than my opponent, but only by a little. h6. Interesting. Yeah, let's get some trades in. Check. And do I do it again? Yeah, let's go for it. Oh, I can't because bishop next to bishop. Ooh, this is going to be more difficult than I thought. Actually, if my opponent takes, can I take back? Oh, no, because it's opponent pieces only. h3, boot the bishop. g5. Oh, I can't even escape this. That's pretty bad. I can sack, I guess. Wow, that is horrendous. All right, let's move the queen out of the way. Bishop takes, I'll take back. And if pawn takes, I have to play on this open file if I want any fighting chance whatsoever. Ooh, king's running, which is interesting. Maybe king e7? Bishop back. Wow, opponent is really not willing to risk it. And I can't move either of these because pawns can't be next to pawns. Ooh, running pretty low on time here. Okay, king runs. Let's play this and target b7. Pre-move the recapture. I really need to even things out on time with my opponent. But that's going to be pretty difficult. I guess this. Oh, wait, if my opponent takes, I can't even take back because it's pawn next to pawn. Hopefully my opponent doesn't think they need to take. Yep, they took. All right, let's play this. Target the knight. 20 seconds left, and best case scenario, we get a flag. Ooh, sweet. Free knight. Okay, if my opponent takes... Ooh, free rook. Opponent is not doing a very good job of holding on to the free pieces I've given. Let's move the king over. Bishop forward. How about queen c6 targeting c7? Again, still down on time, but not by a huge margin. Ooh, queen sack. Don't mind if I do. Pawn sack as well? Sure. Thank you. Bishop sack. Thank you very much. I like this. Let's keep this trend up. I like the piece sacrificing trend. More of these. This is what I need. Let's take this pawn, and this should be a pretty straightforward victory. No, nice. Sacks the king? Oh, but I can't take it because the pawn protects. Oh, that's funny. I can take that one, though. Take here with check. And with that, we win game number 4, which is our 3rd victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, you won. You took your opponent's king. Your opponent's drawback was truant. You can't move the same piece twice in a row. Oh, that would explain why a couple of those captures went uncaptured. Basically, if I attack my opponent's free piece and they've just moved it, they either defend it or they lose it. Nice. Let's go to move on to game number 5. All right, game number 5, we get the white pieces. Our drawback is stir crazy. If you haven't moved your king 4 turns, oh, this is the drawback that our last opponent got. Okay, that's terrible. Let's develop. Let's see, in the next 3 turns. So 1, 2, and 3 does allow me to castle, but it traps my bishop. So no London for this game. Bishop d3, and then on the next turn I must move my king. So castle out of the way. Nice, we castle, and our timer reset. So if I have to buy myself turns, I'll probably just play king h1, king g1. And with any luck, if I play it fast enough, my opponent won't overthink it. Ooh, e5 is horrible. Threatens the pin and the fork. Yeah, let's go ahead and take, and then bishop e2. Sure. Must move king in the next 3 turns. So I'm not going to wait for my opponent to capture and then not have any choice but to move my king. So probably when I have 3, either next turn or 2 turns left, I'm going to make a waiting move with my king. So the timer resets and I have plenty of moves to spare. Oh, not to mention that was totally free. Probably could have taken that. Okay, knight goes back. Let's play b2. I'd like to fianchetto on my bishop since the center of the board is nice and open. Sure. 3 turns left, so I'll probably make another king move in just a moment. Yep. Normal castle. Nothing suspicious to... I mean, it's probably pretty obvious to my opponent what my drawback is, assuming they've seen that drawback before or had it. But if they can't do anything about it, then it should be fine. Let's play h3, boot the bishop. Nice. Go ahead and take back. We have 3 turns left, so now wouldn't be a bad time to make that extra king move. And I'm thinking even like knight to d2. I was going to play knight to c3 to target the pawn. But I think knight d2, knight f3, obviously moving the bishop out of the way makes a little more sense. Develops the knight, controls some central squares, and there's actually a future for the knight on d4 as well. So we'll play knight d2. Okay, bishop b4 hits the knight. I'm fine with a trade, so I'll even instigate it. We'll play a3, hit the bishop. Nice, we'll go ahead and take back. We have 3 turns, 2 turns left. So hopefully my opponent doesn't get any crazy ideas like that. Okay, knight to e4. What if I play queen d1? Can my opponent actually do anything? I don't think so. Actually, let's play queen e2. Queen to e2, and my idea is king g1 on the next turn, no matter what my opponent plays. I must move the king on the next turn either way. With any luck, this wasn't too obvious, and my opponent doesn't know what our drawback is. But if they have figured it out, knight g3 is winning right away. Ooh, f5 allows us to move the king, and our timer resets. Okay, this is good. Okay, we get d4. I'm so excited to play this check. Problem is knight e2 later. Okay, let's trade off this bishop. 4 turns left before we have to move the king again. And then we'll play check, win the pawn on d4, and then we'll move the king on the next turn after that. Nice, we will... Well, if I take with this, let's see, that's 2 turns left, 1 turn left, and then lose the game. So I'll take with the pawn instead, so my opponent doesn't even have the idea of taking on d4. Because we must move the king in the next 2 turns. Ooh, e3. It's very tempting to take that, but I'm going to ignore it and move my king because I'd rather have more moves under my belt. Yeah, sure, e2. Now I target the pawn, and that should be incredibly difficult to defend, especially now that I have extra moves under my belt. Under a minute now for my opponent. Ooh, queen to e7. Good work of defending. Let's play d5, target the knight. Knight to a7. Let's move the king over, buy some more turns. b5, let's inconspicuously and swiftly move the queen to c3, and our idea is rook takes, queen g7, hopefully wins the game. Oh, queen d6, even better, queen takes, and this should instantly win us the game. King takes back, and with that, we win game number 5, which is our 4th victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, you won, you took your opponent's king. Your opponent's drawback was haunted. You can't move to a square that you have captured on. Oh, I don't even feel like that really came into play at all during this match, but it's an interesting one. I think we've seen it before, though. Let's go to move on to game number 6. All right, game number 6, we get the black pieces, And our opponent's name is You Reveal, I Reveal. There will be no revealing. Our drawback is cheerleaders. Your non-pawn pieces can only capture if they're adjacent to one of your pawns. Interesting. Okay, let's play d5 anyways. I think this means I also want an endgame. Problem is it's going to be difficult trading off into one because, for example, if I play bishop g4, I can't take on f3 because there's no pawn of mine that's adjacent to the knight. Okay, queen to e2, develop normally. Pretend everything is fine. Oh, also, if we play defensively, it should be okay. It's like, for example, if somehow bishop b5 takes, we can take back because it's near one of our pawns. So this should be okay as long as we play defensively and looking for trades the whole time. a3, sure. I mean, not really sure what that's for. I wasn't going to play knight to b4 anyways, but sure. Bishop g5, pins. Again, if my opponent wants to take, perfect, I take back. Oh, long castle. Okay. That's going to be an issue because this kind of leans us into me castling short, kingside attack versus queenside attack. I'll play a6 and do my best to instigate the queenside attack before like h4, h5, h6 happens. Worst case scenario, I might even castle queenside to kind of run out of there as quickly as I can, but we'll see what it actually comes down to. Cool, I can actually recapture there because I have adjacent pawns. Ooh, knight to e5 is interesting. I'll take, sure. And I can take because it's next to my pawns. Pawn takes back, I'll just move away. This thins out the position significantly. So b5, b4, and then I probably just castle short. Not a lot of artillery left on the king side, so. Queen to f3, sure. Castle? What? g4, bishop back, h4, I just take. Oh, I can't take because my pawn isn't next to it. We'll see if our opponent agrees. Okay, h4, my opponent's trying to sack, sure. If h5, bishop to e4, takes. Wouldn't work because this is pinned, but what if I play queen c7 first? Bishop to d3 is just offering a trade. Obviously I can't take it because my pawn isn't next to it, but let's play queen takes e5. I probably would normally feel more comfortable with like b5, b4 and try to find some counterplay as quickly as possible. It's usually more psychologically intimidating for the opponent, but we'll make an exception. So bishop e4 was the plan all along. We lose the pawn right back with that capture. Ooh, queen to h3? Does my opponent know I can't take on h1? Wait, why did that allow me to take? Your non-pawn pieces can only capture if they're adjacent to... Oh, they need to come from a position that's adjacent to one of my pawns. This happens every single video. This time I even made it to the very last drawback, but it happens every single video that I misunderstand. Let's play b5, b4. Got it, now I understand. Queen to f6. And I'm looking for b4, and the reason I would be able to take back is because my bishop comes from standing next to one of my pawns. f4, again, aggressive, but I don't think it's going to beat me to the punch. g5, queen d4, that should be fine. If anything, we're targeting f4. And now that we've correctly read our drawback, we understand that we can take it because our queen starts next to one of our pawns. Okay, knight to e2. Throw in a little intermediate check. Wherever the king moves, I'm looking to take on a3, open up a file staring at the king, and basically open the floodgates for an attack. There is an interesting idea here of like a Greek gift on h7, but okay, our opponent takes back, and we have that check. Whole open file to ourselves. Queen c5, looking for a3, and then that forces a victory. Rook to b1 isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. We still take on a3. Our bishop is next to one of our pawns, so we will be able to take back. And this should give us that last victory. Rook takes. Oh, I can't take the king. Ooh, let me very quickly take on b8 so it's not obvious what's happening. I can't actually take the king because my queen isn't next to a pawn. So I need to move like queen to a5. Interesting. But the king finally takes. We take back, and with that, we win game number 6, which is our 5th victory. Let's go ahead and pop up the info board. All right, your opponent's drawback was indecisive. Your pieces can't capture if they could make... Wait, what? Your pieces can't capture if they could make multiple capturing moves. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, that's especially in the opening where your pieces control a lot of squares and probably see like random pawns and stuff. But anyways, with that, we do win all 5 games despite our first loss. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below what you guys think of Drawback Chess, and I will see you guys in the next one.